Hey guys, so today I watched a really interesting video, and I'm going to link to it in the description, but it's from Odile, I think, so I'm going to link to it below, but she goes into great detail about how this whole Purito KBeauty Sunscreen Armageddon happened, and I actually thought it was a very interesting video, so it's a little bit long, so I'm going to link to it below, and I'm also going to kind of summarize it, but she's very wise about how some of this started. So basically, this really comes down to a loophole in the Korean Cosmetics Act of 2000, I think it's 2001. It's a big loophole. So first of all, products really aren't tested generally by any authority if they're made by a third-party manufacturer, which a lot of these are. I'm actually going to list a few brands that aren't made by a third-party manufacturer, but really it comes down to all these sunscreens that had this issue were made by an independent manufacturer, generally most of them Now Coast or Green Coast, and they're responsible for the entire process of making the sunscreen and testing it and sending those test results to the KFDA or the the MFDS, the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety for Korea. So basically, they're really responsible for everything that happens with it, these manufacturers. So this Article 10 enforcement rule goes on to state that functional cosmetics in Korea, which contains to sunscreens, things that brighten or whiten your skin, and things that treat wrinkles, they're exempt from legal evaluation if they have the same key features of a product that was already approved, which, if it has the same active ingredients, which is why you notice this has the same active ingredients as the Klairs sunscreen, which is similar to the Keep Cool. So if it uses the same active ingredients, the same percentages, and for a sunscreen, if there's an SPF discrepancy of 20%, it's acceptable. And then the usage and dosage is the same, and then the formulation is the same. So there's a big loophole with it, and they really added these standards so they could become a big industry leader in beauty, cosmetics, and skincare. They changed all these things so they could compete over the entire globe. So most of these sunscreens involved were probably never even tested by any agency, and they kind of just slipped through the loophole. So basically, these manufacturers exploited this loophole to avoid testing their new sunscreen formulas and bring them to market fast. So if it used the same active ingredients, such as it used, I can't remember which two filters they used, but most of them use the same two filters, which were initially approved in a cream formula. Then they slightly changed it to a lotion formula through this loophole, and then because it used the same active ingredients, it just slipped right through, and they were responsible for reporting their own tests. So when you have one giant manufacturer that's responsible for all of this, they make it, they made another formula with the same active ingredients, so, oh, here we go, we've got the same test, we don't need to do anything else. So then they gave them to these manufacturers. So really, these manufacturers screwed over all these little brands and consumers, and generally, the entire world KBeauty, because a lot of people are very nervous about using any Korean sunscreen at this point, which is really unfortunate because there are some good ones, and a lot of brands have had similar issues, so I do want to mention that. So basically, if you're buying a sunscreen from a brand that has used a third-party manufacturer, there's a potential for this to go under the rug here. So there are some K-Beauty brands that actually make their own sunscreens, which if you make your own, it's a brand new formula, it has to be tested. And those are LG, The Face Shop, C&P Laboratory, The History of Who, Sorihan, Sum 31, Amore Pacific, Innisfree, Laneige, Etude House, Solwaso, Hera, Iop, Ilion, Mamonde, Primera, and Espoir. So those are the main lists. So at this point, those are the brands I would probably go towards trusting a bit more, or at least go to sunscreens from K-Beauty that have several filters in them. I mean, like the Isn't Tree sunscreen has 6 filters in it, a bit of a white cast. I have a feeling that's a pretty good one. But at this point, these manufacturers have really screwed over these little brands, and in turn, customers, and really a lot of people are kind of very nervous about K-Beauty in general. So it's pretty unfortunate what these manufacturers have done to everybody. So I'm going to link to the video because she goes into much more detail and He's much more educated on all of those regulations than I am. So I urge you to check that video out. Leave a comment and spread this video and help spread hers too, because it's quite fascinating how all this happened. And at this point, I know a lot of the KFDA, they're looking at changing these regulations so this loophole doesn't exist anymore, because as long as there's this loophole, they can just kind of sneak whatever sunscreen through that they want. So, and most of these are being found out now slowly. Every day it seems like there's another sunscreen issue. So anyway, check the video out, spread the word, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much.